You know her. The quiet girl no one talks to. The one who walks the halls like a ghost, eats alone at lunch, and never raises her voice, not even when insulted. But what if I told you that one slap was all it took to awaken a storm in her soul? That one cruel moment shattered years of silence, and what happened next left everyone speechless. This is the story of Ava Carter. A name no one noticed, until it was too late. Ava Carter had always been invisible. At Riverstone High, she moved like a shadow between the noise and neon of teenage chaos. She kept her head down, books clutched to her chest, sleeves long enough to hide the scars no one asked about. Her voice. A whisper. Her presence. Easy to overlook. For most students, Ava was just that girl, the one who never spoke unless forced, the one who sat in the back, hoodie up, eyes low. The bullying started like it always does, quiet, like a sickness you don't notice until it's already in your lungs. It was Mason Harper and his group. Loud, rich, confident, the kind of boy teachers smiled at and girls laughed with. But behind the charming grin, Mason had a cruel streak, one that found power in targeting those who couldn't fight back. Or so he thought. It began with snide comments. "Hey mute, cat got your tongue. Don't trip on your books, nerd." Then came the lunchroom games. Snatching her tray. Tossing her bag. Whispering jokes while she pretended not to hear. Ava never reacted. Not once. She'd pick up her spilled books without a word. She'd clean her tray and sit somewhere new the next day. People noticed, of course. But no one intervened. Not the students. Not the teachers. Not even Principal Klein, who walked past one day as Mason knocked Ava's water bottle to the ground with a casual laugh. Ava's silence was mistaken for weakness, her quiet, a license to torment. But what no one knew was that Ava wasn't just quiet. She was holding back. What they didn't see were the evenings she spent in the basement of her uncle's gym, pounding away at a worn punching bag. What they didn't know was that her father, a former Marine and MMA coach, had trained her since she was 10 to defend herself in case life ever turned on her. And it had. Every bruise, every tear she held back, every insult she swallowed, it was building something inside her. A storm. And that storm finally broke, on a Tuesday. It was between classes. The hallway was packed. Ava was at her locker when Mason strutted over with his usual smirk. "Still can't talk, freak," he said, leaning on her locker door. Ava said nothing. She didn't even flinch. Mason, annoyed, glanced at his friends. Laughed. Then, without warning, he slapped her. It wasn't hard. But it was loud. Loud enough that heads turned. Loud enough to make the hallway fall silent. And that was the moment Ava Carter stopped being invisible. She slowly closed her locker, turned to face him, and looked into his eyes, really looked. For the first time in years, she let the fury rise to the surface. Her fists clenched. Her jaw locked. Mason laughed, expecting her to run. But Ava didn't run. She moved so fast, so precisely, that most people didn't even understand what they were seeing. A twist, a grip, a calculated shift of weight, and Mason's right arm bent in a direction arms don't bend. There was a horrible snap. A scream. He hit the floor, howling, his elbow dislocated, hanging like dead weight. Then Ava stepped back. Calm. Still silent. By the time the teacher came sprinting down the hall, it was already done. The office was a blur of voices. Parents called. Papers shuffled. The nurse rushed Mason to the hospital. Ava sat silently in a plastic chair outside Principal Klein's office, her hands folded neatly in her lap. She didn't cry. She didn't apologize. She waited. Her mother arrived in a panic, but Ava met her with steady eyes. "I didn't start it," she said. For the first time, she spoke up. Inside the office, teachers argued. "It was self-defense," said one. "She's been bullied for months." But others worried. "This is assault," said the assistant principal. She broke his arm. The school launched an investigation. Students came forward, finally. Videos surfaced. One, recorded by a freshman, showed Mason slap Ava. Another showed weeks of footage, him tormenting her, shoving her, mocking her. The truth came out. And it wasn't Ava who faced suspension. Mason was expelled. His parents threatened lawsuits. But the school had the evidence. And Ava. She became a quiet symbol of something new: boundaries. Courage. Enough is enough. At first, the students didn't know what to make of her. The girl they had ignored had become the girl no one dared underestimate. But she didn't gloat. She didn't seek revenge. She just kept walking. One day, a younger student, Ellie, who had always been shy, sat next to Ava at lunch. "How did you do it?" she whispered. "Weren't you scared?" Ava paused. Then said, "Being scared is normal. Letting it control you forever isn't." From that day on, Ava was no longer just the quiet girl. She was the girl who stood up. The girl who spoke with her actions when her voice had been silenced too long. And little by little, other students began to stand up, too. Sometimes silence doesn't mean weakness, it means calculation. Sometimes the quiet ones are the strongest, not because they want to fight, but because they've been fighting all along. If you're being bullied, don't suffer in silence. And if you see someone being hurt, don't turn away.